The first bit I wanted to kind of talk to you about was just the piping side of things, because it's one of the first questions we obviously get at trade shows and when we're meeting customers. How the heck do we get this 6-inch pipe into a residential installation? And obviously there are a few hints and tips around that, but maybe just with that broad question, you could start us off.
Sure. The pipe actually is an interesting question. We got a section of it here. This application, when you do the math on it, you're not looking for something that has a necessarily a structural specification to it, just because there's very little pressure, and that's a negative pressure on it. So there's no chance that it's gonna collapse.
That's a bit different from central vacuum, isn't that right? There is a difference there. There's quite a significantly higher per square inch pressure in those systems.
Yeah,
right?
This system does not use what's called a positive displacement pump. So the airflow is not a true vacuum. It's high airflow, but it's not a vacuum, which means that it's very safe. It pulls a lot of volume. It's very efficient in what it does, but it's not necessarily going to put any real pressure on the piping. Okay. So the piping that we use is what's called an SDR35. It's a piping standard that is actually one of the thinnest wall pipes you can buy, and it's that way because we want both the lightness and the standard that this piping system has allows for very smooth transitions. Some of the other pipes that are out there, some people will use like there's a press fit gasketed piping that is commonly used. It's usually a Schedule 40, and that pipe has some rough turns internally. It's not smooth transitions because it's only handling high pressure water systems. They're not concerned with flow. So all of the fittings that go in this SDR35 line are very smooth. They transition well, and the clothing will move easily through that.
So there's no rubber seals or anything like that. It's just smooth transition, PVC 35 sewer and drain pipe.
That's correct.
The SD stands for. Okay.
So, and as you look at those, they're a standard fitting. So they will work. They do transition. Some of the fittings will transition over to the Schedule 40 lines, but one of the other things is a consideration here is in your installs. When you're in a house or in a commercial application, you can have runs that might go in a 3-story house. You may get 40, 50, even 60 feet of riser. When you're dealing with that pipe and that distance in a Schedule 40, that can get very heavy. And so with this SDR line of pipe, it stays light enough to be able to manage in an install.
Yeah, I mean, I can attest to that. We've done quite a few installs ourselves, and that even on a 10, 15 foot length, it's actually pretty easy to handle that stuff. But that green heavy duty pipe that I've seen out in the market really is not one that we would ever use. Is that right?
That's correct. Yeah, we wouldn't spec that in these installs. We realize that in some areas it's difficult to find that SDR35 pipe.
Yeah, and I guess if anyone's struggling to find that pipe locally, we can help them with that because we've developed some relationships with some of those suppliers, and if they can't find it, they should just be in contact with us, I think.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Okay.